Here at NAB 2017, it's a bit quieter around here, but I've taken the opportunity to come behind the Blackmagic Design stand to catch up with an old friend, Stuart Ashton. Now, Stuart has been with Blackmagic Design for quite a while now, as long as I've been doing these videos, so that's 5-6 years, and he's been a really great go-to person to speak to about new products, troubleshooting, and often him and his team based in the UK will be able to troubleshoot and feedback on many of the things that are going on. So I thought we'd do something a little bit different. Instead of the standard what's been going on, we'd just have a little bit more of an informal chat and give you guys and me more of an idea of what makes Blackmagic Design tick and a bit of information about their new products. So
I think for us the main thing is to ensure that when we've got a product ready to go, we allow it to go. I mean, rather than holding it back to NAB, which all of a sudden becomes like a milestone, which in the past we've released everything at NAB, and then we've ended up with say 15 or 16 announcements. Whereas over the course of the last 2 or 3 months, we had a few products like the panels and the Ursa Mini Pro that we were ready to ship. You know, we made the move to get them out the door earlier. I guess it's the interest in what it is that we're really doing. I mean, I really feel like it's not just a business that creates products. It's a company that's got a very strong focus on really solving people's problems. And I think if you talk to any of us about what our objectives are, it is to continue to solve as many people's problems as possible. You know, and I think that, you know, it's just an exciting place to be. I mean, we've got some great products, we've got some great people. And I think that our customer base has grown to such a point now where it almost feels like an extended family. It kind of sounds a bit cheesy, but you know, when you meet the same customers every year and they're telling you that a product's changed their life or has changed the way they work, it kind of sort of inspires you to do more. Well, I think that, you know, a lot of that comes from the top. You know, we've got an incredibly amazing figurehead within the business in Grant Petty, who has been an engineer in a previous life, and you know, he's worked in the rack rooms and he's worked, you know, in post-production facilities, and he's done jobs himself which he's faced the problems that all of us have faced in production somewhere along the line. You know, my background was editing, and you know, when I was an editor, I always used to get faced with, you know, problems of either, you know, supporting certain codecs or dealing with certain file types or having to manage a workflow which requires many people being involved. And I think that really what Grant's ethos has been is to try and make not only products accessible to as many people as possible, but also make products work very simplistically and also minimize the amount of proprietary technology that's there, because by that I mean that people want freedom, people want to be able to move between applications, people want to be able to work with whatever codecs they want, and they want to connect one piece of equipment to another piece of equipment without having those two pieces of equipment to be made by the same company. And this freedom and this motivation of ours to give people access and give people the freedom that they desire has meant that all of the products that we've created have always been in that frame of mind, which is to allow somebody to get from one place to another with the easiest possible steps. Well, I think you only have to look back 6 years ago, I think it is now, since we acquired DaVinci. And at the time, DaVinci Resolve was a high-end color corrector, which was a £200,000 piece of equipment. And the first stage of that was to make it accessible to as many people as possible by delivering a software application that could be ran on a standard machine and would give access to all of those high-end feature film capabilities into you and I. Since then, there's been many updates, many thousands of additional features being added in there. But I think that, you know, last year we made a huge step towards video editing. That was a big drive for us, a big push, to really kind of make a statement that Resolve isn't just a color correction tool, but it's also a high-end video editing tool. It hasn't stopped there. Since 12.5 through to where we are now, which is version 14, we've taken all of the Fairlight software and we've integrated that into Resolve. Now, what that means for you and I now is that we've now got a high-end broadcast audio tool built into Resolve. And that means there's no round tripping, there's no taking your application out, sorry, your footage out of the application and then bringing it back in. It all seamlessly works. If I'm selecting a clip in the edit page, that same clip is appearing in the color page, and then when I go to do my edit in audio, it's the same clip again. And really it's about making sure that that whole workflow is contained within Resolve. But then the additional step to that is also this ability to work in a collaborative workflow. So if it's not just you working on a project, but maybe multiple people, what better than to have a piece of software that allows unlimited number of users to be accessing the same footage in the same timeline. And when all of those adjustments and amendments are made, that the person who's administering that project has the ability to accept or decline those changes. That is a massive step forward, it's a huge leap. But to be able to do that, you need to also have something that flows and runs and gives you the performance that you expect. So not only have we done all of this at surface level, but underneath the hood, what we've actually gone and done is we've recreated the whole back end, and we're now delivering 10 times the performance and speed than we had before. You've got to remember that when a company develops a product that's, say, $200,000, that company has invested a huge amount of time and a huge amount of resource to get to that point to sell that product. In the case of Resolve, DaVinci and Fairlight, those were two businesses that had invested incredibly heavily in which to sell a usable product. When we've acquired those companies, we already have an infrastructure within Blackmagic that can support the growth and future development of those. And our philosophy has always been to give these products back to the everyday man. You know, it's not about making sure that we're just dealing with the elite of the elite. You know, it's about giving these applications to a kid in college who can be as creative as they want and develop over many years to become that elite person. So for us, we don't subtract anything. You know, we give everybody what is there and we try and add more. And we try and build a network and we try and build a community and we try and increase the volume of users. And that for us has been our plan, and that is something that we've been very successful at doing. I think, when you look at those products, we're entering a new age of internet broadcasters. That's the first thing, is that what we're seeing is that the traditional broadcaster, whilst they still exist, there is definitely a move towards a different way of broadcasting your content. And that means that people are utilising the internet, utilising YouTube Live, Facebook Live, in which to do online broadcast. What we needed was tools that could give people that capability. And what the web presenter did and what the television studio did, and also the Hyperdeck Minis did, is they allowed people to have an all-in-one solution that was capable of delivering and recording content both to a standard format or to an online streaming service, and at a price that was, again, accessible to everybody. When you look at the products that we announced at the show, which is the ATEM Television Studio Pro, is that it takes it, as you say, one step further. We talk in the past about different ways in which you can control those ATEMs, whether it be through a hardware control panel, or whether it be through software, or whether it be through a third-party application that someone's created for the switcher. But what we felt was that there was a real opening in the market to have all of that contained within a single unit, so that if you're doing a live event or if you're doing an external OB of some sort, is that you literally just plug one device in and you bring your video in and your video out and job done. And what we found is that that from feedback from the show so far, people seem to grasp what it is that we're trying to achieve. And I think people are excited about the concept of having this as an all-in-one, and also having something that, as you say, looks great, feels great, and has high-quality engineering, and the knobs aren't going to fall off after 2 weeks. So that's been very good for us. we focus very heavily on ergonomics. You'll see that now with things like the new cameras, the Ursa Mini Pro, and you'll see it with the switcher, is that you've got to minimize the amount of keystrokes. You've got to minimize the amount of menus that you're working with. And if you have a button that does a function and it's literally one press, then that speeds up the process and makes things a lot easier. And that's what we've tried to do with the ATEM Television Studio Pro, is that we've tried to create something that is effectively everything is one button push away. And that makes everything easier to a user. And you know, when you look at today, the different types of people that are utilizing those tools, is that you've got experienced guys who are doing some seriously high quality broadcast work, but then you've got the YouTube generation, you know, where you see these guys on YouTube who've got 20 million followers, that are 16, 17 years old. Well, why not? Yeah, why not give them the opportunity? Why not give them something that can work for them as well? Yeah, so obviously the Ursa Mini Pro, which was announced a couple of months ago, was kind of a step up again from the Ursa Mini, utilising our existing 4.6K sensor. It meant that not only did it deliver great images, but with the new body, the ergonomics became much more simpler to use, because again, everything is a button away, with a lot of external button features. But what we didn't tell customers when we did that was that we had been working on Bluetooth control for the camera in the background. And at NAB this year, we've announced accessibility through a Blackmagic app that allows you to control things like focus, iris, allows you to control things like your shutter angle, do auto white balance. We've also got on there the ability to go and do things like metadata tagging, so you can go in and you can select your reel and your scene name and type in what that is. It doesn't kind of stop there. That's the start for us with the app. But what we are going to do is also release the SDK for that application, which means that anybody who wants to program features for that camera means that they can control pretty much every function of the camera through Bluetooth connectivity via a laptop or via a tablet, or even potentially an iPhone. Well, I think that's the point. The third-party element is a huge point for us. We've had a lot of third-party manufacturers who've created accessories for our cameras, and I think opening up that Bluetooth connectivity not only to individuals but also to third-party businesses means that what we may see over the course of the next 6 months, 12 months, is a whole host of things being developed for the camera, and that's only a good thing for users. It's a product that, as you say, we've upgraded over the period of the last few years, but we're kind of at a tricky point with the Ursa, because here you've got a camera that we wanted to put the 4.6K turret on. We spoke about higher frame rates and an increased performance level with that camera. The challenge is that we're not happy at the moment with the results that we're getting, and we're utilising NAB to really talk to some of those customers. Aside from that, what we've done is we've put an upgrade there for existing Ursa customers, which means that for the price that they were going to pay for the upgrade for the turret, that's been discounted from the price of the Ursa Mini Pro. So what we're trying to do is encourage people, if they want to take on the newest camera that we have, there's a great discount structure in there for those guys. But really at the moment, we're going to take the information back from the show. We're going to really see how many people are making that transition across into Ursa Mini Pro, and then we'll make a decision, very soon about what we do there. But our aim is to try and look after as many of those customers as possible, because they are early adopters, and we know that these guys are invested, and we want to make sure that we deliver them a product that we are happy with and they are happy with. There's no point in us delivering them something that ultimately they're not going to get value for money for. Yeah, absolutely, and I appreciate obviously the support from you guys as well, and for all of your viewers as well, because obviously without those guys we won't be able to do what we do.
That's enough of a rest for me, and Stuart's got to crack back on as well. But if you've any questions, I can get those answered here at Blackmagic Design. We're here for the next few days or so as well, and we will be putting out our Ursa Mini Pro review and we're going to be testing some interesting environments, so stay tuned for that, but that'll be out in the next few weeks. As always, I'm going around the rest of the show, so if there's anything else you would like to know, do let me know. If you like what I do, please make sure to hit subscribe, comment away, share, wave your hands in the air.